The Louisiana-Monroe Warhawks are heading to Austin to face the #1 Texas Longhorns. Why is the ULM offense so run-focused? How is the ULM defense performing in year 1? Which players can give the Horns a run for their money? And most importantly, can Texas stay healthy and play a full 60 minutes on Saturday? After the video, make sure to go to Inside Texas to stay up to date with your favorite football team. I produce the new Inside Texas Football YouTube channel as well, and I'm live Monday through Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time, so come hang out. You already know the top spot for the best practice reports, accurate recruiting updates, and intelligent pre- and post-game analysis. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com and the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel today. Links in the description. Texas is a 40-point favorite, so can the Longhorns play clean, effective football for all 4 quarters despite the mismatch in competition? Without further ado, let's get into it. ULM is a historically awful program. The most wins they have in a season since moving up to D1 in 1994 is 8, and they only did that once. They haven't made a bowl game since 2012, and their head coach was fired last season. This year, they bring in Bryant Vincent to lead the Warhawks after being the interim at UAB 2 years ago and the offensive coordinator at New Mexico last season. So far, they are 2-0, but the rest of the season won't be so kind. ULM likes to run the damn ball, posting the 9th most rushing attempts in the nation. It's a lot of fun to watch if you're a ground guy. It's a creative scheme with a lot of behind-the-line movement, misdirection, and unique ways to execute classic run plays. Creative angles, full backfields, diamond formation, double wing, healthy blend of interior and perimeter runs with a lot of heavy personnel. Coach Vincent builds his entire offense on this varied rushing attack, but they do still struggle to execute it at a high level in year 1. The Warhawks do okay in yards per rush, picking up 4.4 yards per carry, ranked 58th in the country. But they do need to improve their consistency, ranking 79th in rushing success rate. And they're also missing that big run ability with the nation's 85th ranked rushing explosivity. ULM are getting their yards due to the schematics keeping rushing defenses off balance. But when it's time to execute on those 3rd and 4th and shorts, they do struggle as one of the worst teams in CFB in rushing power success rate. 5'10", 205-pound freshman Ahmad Hardy leads the team with 33 attempts with a below-average 4.9 yards per carry. But he's a tough runner with an 8th best yards after contact per attempt, so make sure to bring him down. Out of the ULM backs, Hardy is the most likely to break off the long carry with a slightly above-average 46% breakaway percentage. And he's got the most athletic upside in that room, so he's probably going to get poached eventually, but overall, he's the 15th graded of 39 runners if added to the SEC. Second in attempts with 25 is the big 6'2", 205-pound James Jones. The junior is a solid north-south runner and efficient in his movements. He's got a 16th best 5.5 yards per carry currently, but he does leave a ton to be desired after going down way too easily for that size. But Jones is ULM's highest graded rusher at 8th of 39 SEC running backs. Finally, since this is such a run-focused offense, we should mention the 6', 210-pound junior Taven Curry with 17 attempts. He's averaging a decent 5.2 yards per carry, a pretty good yards after contact per attempt, and he's the most likely to be utilized in the pass game. Curry grades out as 27th of 39 running backs. The ULM offensive line does earn their keep here with 3 linemen in the top half of run blockers. Left tackle Sam Carson is 18th, left guard Elijah Fisher is 36th, and right guard Jay Mickle is 44th of 103 SEC run blockers. The run game is the bread and butter of this offense, and the entire passing game is built on its back. ULM rarely throws the ball, ranking 130th in the country in passing attempts per game. When they do, it's very short stuff like a screen or a tight end leak, and with the very rare one-on-one go ball to the outside receiver. 113th in yards per pass, only averaging 5.4 yards per throw. For context, 30 teams in America average more per rush than ULM does per pass. And even with an emphasis on the short game, the passing game is still disjointed, with an 88th ranked success rate, and they do slightly below average in explosivity as well. It's an anemic passing attack that in a perfect world relies on its carefully timed play-action shots to score, but that's not happening. ULM brought in Oklahoma transfer and all-world name General Booty. He's a limited passer though, below average 61% completion percentage, a 4th to last 6.2 yards per attempt, and he lacks mobility with a league worst 33% pressure to sack rate. The Warhawks rarely push the ball downfield. In 2 games, he only has 1 deep attempt, and he missed it. and only 2 intermediate balls, completing one of those. So he's not asked to do much besides hand the ball off and make some light tosses. And he could have decent receiving talent, but we don't know because we don't see them get utilized enough. Long Island transfer Devon Wells leads the team with 9 targets, catching 7 of those. It's all the typical slot receiver quick stuff so he can get yards after the catch. Due to the offensive style, he has an absurdly low 1.7 yard average depth of target, translating to a third worst 6.6 yards per reception. But since he gets the ball at such shallow depths, that means he is able to add about 6 yards after the catch per reception, which makes it above average. The 5'10", 180-pound senior is the only receiver on the team with enough targets to even get a grade, ranking 29th of 47 receivers if added to the SEC. Second in targets with only 6 is the 6'3", 210 outside threat Javon Campbell. Solid-looking athlete they use to play iso ball on the corner on rare occasions. He's also the only receiver on the team that's even been targeted deep, so be on the lookout for that once-a-game fade to see if they can catch the corner sleeping. Otherwise, he's just going to catch something short with little impact. Campbell doesn't have the targets to be graded accurately. Third in targets is another slot in Jake Godfrey with 3 targets, catching only 2 of those. And he also has a slightly above average yards after catch per reception, so you do gotta watch his speed after the ball is in his hands. But once again, not enough data here to give him a fair ranking. ULM plays with heavy personnel often, so you do have to be aware of the tight ends sneaking out for cheap flat routes after they utilize them on split zone several times. Nate Sullivan is the one to watch here with 3 targets, pulling in all 3. The smaller 6'3", 225-pound tight end mostly blocks though, and doesn't qualify for a grade due to such low targets. The offensive line looks good statistically since they're asked to pass block so infrequently. They'd rank 5th if added to the SEC in offensive line pass blocking efficiency since they have given up 0 sacks, only 1 quarterback hit, 4 hurries, and 5 pressures. But that's also because there is very little true pass sets occurring with a lot of play action and quick game built into the offense. They'd likely struggle much more if the offense tried to have a traditional drop back style. But due to gaming the system, they do have 3 top half offensive linemen with left tackle Sam Carson ranked 15th, center Carter Miller at 27th, and left guard Elijah Fisher at 47th of 100 SEC pass blockers. But again, big warning here, grain of salt, because each of these guys only have 3 true pass sets, meaning they've only dropped back with no play action, screen, or short throw elements 3 times all season. So ULM is definitely a team that wants the run to be their calling card, and that won't stand up versus better competition. They avoid the pass at pretty much all costs, and that's due to a poor passing quarterback and seemingly limited receiving threats. Overall, ULM is the 122nd ranked offense in the country in the advanced metric OFEI. The keys for the Texas defense is to get some quality reps being consistent in our run fits. ULM likes a lot of different schemes that utilize all the gaps, and they aren't shy about stretching the run game horizontally. We took that play off last week when UTSA had that 50-yard rushing touchdown. Can we avoid those kinds of mistakes against a team that rushes a ton? Texas has the 42nd ranked opponent yards per rush, giving up 3.5 yards per carry. And teams can be somewhat consistent against us with the 60th ranked defensive rushing success rate. But Texas has been elite so far in the situational run game, ranking 2nd in the nation in stuffing power run attempts on short yardage. So basically, when Texas knows you're running, teams are struggling to blow us off the ball. This matchup is interesting though, because all ULM wants to do is run, and Texas, knowing that, can now throw all of our resources into stopping the ground attack. And you don't want to face Texas on 3rd down either, ranking 15th in the nation there. And the red zone is also a no-go, as Texas is the 2nd team in the country in red zone defense. For the secondary, the big goal is don't get sleepy or cocky. Sleepy because they don't throw the ball often and they throw for distance like twice a game. And don't get cocky because though the wide receivers aren't utilized well on this team, they are decent enough athletes. Be ready to make tackles in the short game and diagnose screens quickly. But I don't worry about this aspect as Colorado State and UTSA are short pass focused and Texas locked that down. So overall, this Texas defense is ranked 6th in the country in the advanced metric DFEI. It's one of those games that if you do everything right, we won't learn that much. But if we mess up enough, it'll expose some weaknesses for conference play. The ULM offense is one-dimensional, and that one dimension can't scale to this level of competition, so they will struggle. But the other side of the ball performs slightly better. But before we hit the defense, the sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a skill-based daily fantasy sports app where you can make college football player projections all season long. How does it work? You select 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their prize pick projections. It could be passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, and more. And if those players score more or less than their prize pick projection, you can win up to 100 times your money this football season. I do a lot of Texas and opponent research, so I like to put my insights to the test, and Prize Picks is a fun way for me to put my money where my mouth is. Just hop on the Prize Picks app or website, go to the college football tab, and check out the player projections. It's a smooth process where you can make your entries in 60 seconds or less with fast withdrawals. It's that easy. As a first-time depositor, use promo code TexasHomer and get $50 instantly once you play $5 in lineups. You don't need to win your lineup to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. So sign up for Prize Picks, use promo code TexasHomer at sign up, and add even more excitement to your game day. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Link in the description. ULM has done a good job in their first 2 games on defense, ranking 4th in the nation in opponent points per game. But that was against FCS Jackson State and UAB, so assuming these stats hold against an elite Texas offense is unwise. In the run game, ULM is only giving up 2.6 yards per rush, good for 18th in the country. They still let teams gain ground too often, though, as the 100th ranked defense in rushing success rate. The Warhawks do keep a lid on long runs, ranking 12th in defensive rushing explosivity, so that is a big plus. Nose Jalen Ware is scrappy against the run, even being undersized at only 6 foot, 285 pounds. And he's a top half interior run stopper in the SEC, ranked 21st of 61, but that's it for the inside guys. On the outside, ULM has 3 guys all slightly above average. Dylan Howell ranks 28th, Billy Poulin ranks 32nd, and Cavante Wells ranks 35th of 72 run-stopping edges if added to the Southeastern. But the second level lacks any top-half run stoppers, and the secondary isn't a ton better, with only corner Carlin Vigers barely making the top-half cutoff at 51st of 119 run-stopping secondary defenders. So the line has to do a bulk of the run-stopping work here. ULM has performed well in the pass rush, though, through 2 games, ranking 1st in the nation, averaging 5 sacks per game. But they only played 1 FBS opponent, and they had a bye week in week 3, so we definitely need more data. Another grain of salt thing. The interior posts 2 slightly above average pass rushing interior defensive linemen, with Earl Barquette at 19th with 4 total pressures, and nose Jalen Ware at 26 with 3. On the edge, only 1 player, Dylan Howell, ranks in the top half at 13th with 7 pressures of 70 pass rushing SEC edges. But there is a player I still need to mention, an edge, Billy Poulin. He's a good player at 6'3", 245 pounds, and he already has posted 9 pressures, 4 of those are sacks. But the overall grade suffers because he only wins a low 7.8% of his pass rushes, so he's technically bottom half. Still, be on the lookout for Poulin come Saturday. The ULM pass defense has also done well minimizing risk, holding opponent yards per pass to only 5.2, and that's good for 22nd. And they're also not giving up the big shot either, at 3rd in the country for opponent passing explosivity. They can get nickel and dime, though, with a 73rd ranked defensive passing success rate, and of course, they haven't seen anything like the Texas receiving corps. ULM has 1 top half coverage linebacker in Carl Glass Jr. at 25th of 57. But the secondary is well represented amongst the top half of pass defending DBs. Safety Carl Fontroy Jr. ranks 10th, only allowing 25% of passes to be caught on him. Safety Wydett Williams Jr. is 16th, and he's pulled down 1 pick. Corner Carlin Vigers ranks 23rd, and he's also snagged an interception. Nickel Trevor Randall ranks 29th, and opposite corner David Godsey Jr. ranks 32nd of 112 coverage DBs. So that's a solid defensive backfield against the pass statistically and personnel-wise. But overall, ULM struggles situationally where it counts as the 100th ranked 3rd down defense and 88th ranked red zone defense. So the decent opponent yards per rush or opponent yards per pass can melt away pretty quickly when you struggle at those key moments. So overall, ULM ranks 89th in the country in the advanced metric DFEI. Texas is slightly above average in the run game, ranked 45th in the country in yards per rush. And that's impressive given our string of running back injuries and young guys getting thrown into the fire. But this week I'll be interested to see if Texas can break some long runs as the 73rd ranked rushing explosivity offense. Sark said he wanted his backs to perform better in the open field. And ULM is effective at limiting that long run. So it's a Texas weakness versus a ULM strength there. Texas also has room to improve on those 3rd and 4th and short runs, and ULM is bad at defending these. So hopefully Texas can get some quality reps there. Plus, the ULM defensive line are all undersized with no one weighing over 300 pounds. I'm most interested to see the passing offense with Arch Manning at the helm after a full week of preparation. It will be valuable for Arch to have to throw against this ULM group that has shown some ability while also not being a true threat. Of course, the real goal here is to stay injury-free and win convincingly. But I admit I am having some trouble trying to sell this fight to you, as number 1 Texas versus a bottom FBS ULM is a total mismatch. Regardless, Game 4 is right around the corner and Texas just has to stay in the pocket and execute. Can the Longhorns stay locked in when frankly this part of the schedule hasn't been challenging? Can we continue to do the right thing when there's no threatening opponent coming up and the media praise is at a fever pitch? These games show us more than we think about the winning character of a good team. No slacking. We will see how Texas wears that number 1 ranking this Saturday night when the Warhawks come to Austin. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook 'em.